So we are over here in the browser initialization. So in browser initialization, we are going to take help of the classes which are specific to each of the browsers. For example, Chrome driver, Firefox driver. So we are taking help of those classes which will help us to use the WebDriver interface. Why? Because we cannot create object of an interface directly. And as we have already seen that our browser drivers are specific to browser, so it is always wise to create your WebDriver while you creating your object. It is always wise to use specific browser drivers only. Why? Because when our JSON wire protocol also communicate, it will communicate via the browser drivers, and those browser drivers are again specific to each of the browsers. So whenever we are going to use cross browser, we need to make use of multiple WebDriver driver. Why? Because for Chrome and Firefox we need to create two different instances, right? So we will look into that when we will go over there, that how we can manage multiple instances over there. Third point is desired capabilities, which is deprecated. In Selenium 4 they have completely deprecated desired capabilities, okay, but before to that it was there. So desired capabilities specifically help us to define some of the settings at the browser level. What do we mean by that? Let's take an example that I am working on this, or maybe I am automating this specific one, right? This specific website, okay, or maybe I am trying to automate this website, right? So in that case, what happens when I am trying to automate this website? So now there are a couple of things I need to look over here, right? That my when I am automating this, let I have a video over here, right, and I need to watch that. Or maybe I have a option over here where I can talk to the author directly. So in that case, what we need our camera and microphone to be accessible from here, right? From this particular website, my camera and microphone supposed to be accessible. So now those camera and microphone access we need to provide at the browser level. What do we mean by that? For example, if I will go over here let me go over to my previous one, okay. If I come over here, you can see I'm testing one website where I need to provide access for the video from Google Chrome. Now how you are going to do that? Manually it's okay, we can come over here and provide this access, but when we are working in automation, we need to provide that by script. So to provide or to do the setup at the browser level programmatically, they have provided this desired capabilities, and as this desired capabilities has been deprecated, the workaround is browser options, okay. So we can also now provide all the settings at the browser level by using browser options. Again, those browser options are browser specific. That means for Chrome it is Chrome options, for Firefox it is Firefox options. So it is always like specific to your browser. But how you are going to imply those settings on your WebDriver instance? How we can do that? We need to first define those, okay. First what we need to do, we need to define those, and then we need to pass that object exactly with our instance. So how we can do that? Let's first move this one from here to, so I have created an object of Chrome options. Then what I am doing, I am providing some setting for it, right? For example, there are multiple methods available, okay. It's not like only set binary or add arguments that are present for us to use. Rather, what we are going to do, we are going to see that what are the options that I have which I can use while creating object of Chrome options class. So how we can know that? Simply we need to copy paste the object name and put a dot. Then we will be able to know that what are the available methods we have that is provided by the Chrome options class. So those are all the options: add arguments, add extensions. That means you can add extensions also directly. Add extensions, right? Add arguments, and then you can set your means insecure search. This is very important. Sometime we need to provide the accept insecure certifications at browser level, you can set the capability, right? You can set it headless, you can set proxy. So almost everything you want to do with your browser at a pre-setup, that can be done over here using your Chrome options. Which one we are going to pick? We are going to pick this set accept insecure certs. This is very useful in most of the project. You may need to use this. So once you set, for example, I want to set my accept insecure certs false, so I have set it up over here now. But what I need to do, I need object, and on this object I have provided that set accept insert certificate is false. I need to pass that object over here while creating the instance for my browser driver. So what I have done, I have first created an object for Chrome options, then I have done the pre-setup to accept insecure certifications as false, then I have used that object while creating an instance for my Chrome driver, right? So if it's not like you can use only one, you can use multiple on it. For example, I want to use one more setting for it, right? For example, set Chrome options. Still it is pretty much slow for me. Chrome options dot set capability. I am trying to set a capability. For example, just for example, I am taking it audio. I want to make my audio as true. I want to make my audio as true. So so what I am doing right now, I am implying multiple settings on my Chrome browser, right, from single object, and then I am going to pass that object along with my driver instances. So now this is only for Chrome options. If you want to run it across multiple browser, then you need to set the Firefox option separately. It's not like you can use in single Chrome options. You need to create multiple options object if we are working on cross browser. So for example, see here it has given set headless as true. That means you are making this Firefox driver instance as headless. So those things are pretty much handy when you are working on a project where there are some pre-setup you need to do on your browser. So now the question is which one we should use. Initially there is always like you can use desired capability or browser option, but from Selenium 4 you need to use browser options only. So we should not be worried about this desired capabilities, right? Both are pretty much same. Okay, if you can see chromosome class this one is recommended. Why? Its usage in Java is deprecated. Now in Selenium also it is deprecated. So desired capabilities, if somebody asks you during interview, then tell them that from Selenium 4 it has been deprecated, so we are not going to use that. Fifth one will be your navigation. Whenever we are talking about automating a website, the first thing we need to do is accessing that website. So how you are going to access an website using Selenium method? So there are two methods. One is get, one is navigate. Both will help you to access the website, right? So now if you are saying that which one will be means much better than the another, there is nothing like that. Both will act completely same. So myth is there, get does not store history while navigate does, but those are not true. Both are pretty much the same thing. You can either use driver.get or you can use driver.navigate.to. Both will help you to access the website which you want to automate. So whenever you want to access a website, which one you are going to use? Either you are going to use get or you are going to use navigate to, right? So inside this you need to pass the URL which you want to access. So let me just change those double quotes, change it to double quotes and comma. So both are pretty much same. Any one you can use. There is nothing like you have to use get or navigate. Whichever is feasible for you, you can use. There is no priority also. Whatever you feel right for you to use, you can use. There are a couple of more things we should aware of this navigate one specifically. Okay, for that let's go to our browser. So this is my browser, right? There are three important things over here: back button, front button and refresh button. If you want to perform any of these actions, then you need to take help of navigate. This navigate. Okay, this navigate is specifically provided by selenium.webdriver, right? And this has couple of implementation which is going to help us to move forward, backward, or to refresh the page. How you can do that? Driver.navigate.back or driver.navigate.forward or driver.navigate.refresh. So refresh will refresh the page, back will take you back from your present page, and forward means the page you have previously visited, right? Correct. So forward means one forward, backward means one backward, like we do in automation, we do in over here, these two arrow buttons specifically, right? But in automation, try to avoid using those, okay? Because you don't know if you take back where it will go, how much time it will take to load. So normally in automation we try to avoid those things, but at least for interview purpose we should be aware of this, that how you can move back, forward, or you can refresh it. See, this is back, and there must be one more forward over here, right? Forward is there, back is there, and refresh is here. So all the three methods are present over here, right? So I'm not writing it again over here because it is there in the documents. When I will share, you can get it, right? So all those three things, whenever you need to talk about navigate, always if they ask you in interview also what are the uses of navigate, then you should talk about back, forward, refresh. And the first one is accessing an website. Whenever you want to access a website, you can use navigate also. Now the second concept is find element, find elements. Very much important for interview. Almost in all the interview they ask this question. So what this one specifically does, so whenever you try to find an element means object specifically, okay? So whenever you try to find an element or object, what we do, we specifically provide some property to identify it, right? But there is a method in Selenium WebDriver which help us to do that, which help us to find the element using our property which is associated with that particular object. So now Selenium has provided two methods, right? One is find element, one is find elements. So how both are different to each other, and which one you should use when you know that there are two elements. For example, login, there are two login button in your screen, right? And you want to validate that, okay, whenever I reach to this particular page, I should have two button with login. At that very point of time, your find element won't come handy. Why? Because it will always return you the first matching web element. That means if you want to verify both are present or not, you cannot verify it, because find element will never go to the second one. But find elements, that's why they come into picture. Find elements comes to picture when you try to validate that there are multiple web elements with the same property present in your screen, but the working style of both are little bit different. How? Find elements will always, for example, let you are unable to find the element, then find element is going to throw you an error, that element is not present, no such element exception. But find elements will return you an empty list. That means your test case is not going to fail. Your test case is not going to fail at driver.findElements, but after that it will fail, right? If you try to perform some action on that object and that object is not yet identified, it will fail over there, but it will not fail at place driver.findElements, right? That's why always remember that whenever they ask you in interview, you should explain these 2 points. One is this will return your first, and give them this example that let I have a login page where I want to validate that their list with 2 elements, right? And you will easily able to know, okay, my list returns 2 elements, that means my validation is successful. That's why whenever there is a validation like this, you should definitely use find elements, but in all of the rest of the cases you are going to use find element. Why? Because if the element is not found, you need an error to be thrown. or else unnecessarily it will go to the next step and it will fail. So there is no need of wasting time to go to the next step also, right? It should be identified at that very point, because Selenium means performing action on objects. If object is not found, how I am going to perform the action on it? That's why find element is advisable to use in rest of everywhere, right? Or else it will be a troublesome for us. It will not fail at that exact place, and it will be difficult for us, right? So driver dot find element, see there are two coming, find element, find elements. And what is the return type of find element? It is a web element, right?
List.
This is a list of web element. So whenever they will ask what is the return type of find elements, return type of find elements is list.
List.
What is the return type of find element? It is a web element, right? Return type of find element is web element, return type of find elements is list, right? Let me write this point over here. Okay, let me mention this point over here for ease of understanding. Return type is web element, right? But here return type is list. Type is list. So whenever they will ask, explain all those points, okay, in the differences, and give that example that if I have a page like this, then only I am going to use. Correct. So now what we are going to do, we are going to see couple of things over here. Okay, let's go to UI. I have a demo website, right? Forgot. In second email I have shared with you some demo website or not?
Heroku.com.
Which one? Heroku. No, one more was opened over there. I was showing you guys. Okay, no problem.
It was uitestpractice.com.
Yeah. Correct. Good. UI. Okay. UI test. Yes, this one. Okay, this one is easy to show the examples. Okay, let's go to okay, cool. So now what we are going to do, we are going to see that how different type of actions help us to automate the websites. Okay, the first action is click. This is a very common one. For example, let you have a website like this to automate. Here, this is a create new, right? A button. If you click on it, then only you will be forwarded to create a new user, right? So now the first step would be like clicking. Selenium has provided a method for you. That method, what it will help you, it will help you to click on this particular method. So that method is called as dot click, right? Second one, maybe you need to write something, test. Maybe you need to write something, you need to search a username, and then you need to search that particular user. In that case, what you need to do, you need to write something on the input box. So whenever you want to write something, you need to use a method called as send keys. Okay, so click specifically to click on an element, send keys to write or input some data on it. Similarly, if you want to clear some data, then you can use dot clear over it. So before we go forward, let's try these three methods. Okay, let's try these three methods over here. So for example, this is my create new. So if I want to identify this object, so now we are not following any framework. Okay, we are just making us comfortable with the methods provided by Selenium, right? Or else we are not going to identify directly like this. We are going to use @find by to identify each of these locators, correct? But this is how just we are seeing that how this method works, right? So let's go back over here. We are going to see this one, find dot driver dot find element, driver dot find element by dot class name content dot click. So what we are going to do, we are going to use a little bit of automation over here. I have written it somewhere. Desired capabilities, option options, navigate back. Got it. Okay, let's start from here. Let's first identify this object over here. Come back over here. Let's try to identify it. Inspect. Grow path. Relative X path. I don't think so. We need an X path for it. How it looks? AREF or create new contents is there, right? Control C by dot X path dot click. So now in this line, what we are doing in line number 878, first we are identifying the object. How? By using find element method, driver dot find element. And how you are going to identify the object? Using some property, right? So that property, here we have seen that we have couple of property like href is there, style is there, those are all properties, right? But here our text is also pretty much clear, create new. That's why we have used the method that we have learned in our previous session, that is contains text. So contains text, create new, and what I want to do, what kind of action I want to do on this particular object, I want to click on it. That's why I have written dot click, right? Similarly, first what I want to do, I want to click on that one, then I want to search something. I want to search test, right? If I want to search something on an input box, first I have to identify that one, right? So again, what I am going to do, I am going to identify this text box, right? See, it has an input of id called as search data, right? So id is equal to search data, that one also we can use. So what we are going to do, driver dot find element, right, by dot id, right? Our id is pretty much prominent, so we don't have to go through XPath anymore. We can simply use search data as id. See, here id is written, id equal to search data. A previous time we have seen, right, how we will make the call. If id and name are pretty much prominent, then we are not going to run behind the XPaths and all, right? Then dot, what we want to do, we want to enter some values, then we are going to use send keys. Which user I want to search? I want to search test user. So now what it will do, it will first go over here and then it will type test, right? It will type test. Now what I want to do, I want to remove test. I want to, because test you have already written over there, you want to clear that value. In that case, what you can do, you can simply use this one. You can simply use this particular identification of the object and then use dot clear. So whenever you want to clear some values, maybe you have written some values, search it and then clear it and try to search something else. In that case, you can follow this. First you type this one, search it, then clear it, and then search for test one. Just an example I am giving, okay? So you can first use your send keys to type it, then clear it, and then again use the send keys to type a new value on top of it, right? So those are all methods given by Selenium, and we should be aware of those methods. Why? Because when we start automating, before that we should aware that those are the options I have with me, right? The next one will be a drop down. So what we are going to do, we are going to see a drop down. Let's go to testing controls and see that how the drop down looks. So this is specifically a typical drop down, right guys? You have multiple values in a drop down. For example, let you want to identify a value from the drop down, then what you will do? So to identify a drop down is of different types. This is one type, this is one type, this is one type, but all are drop downs. So whenever you see something like this, you need to remember that, okay, I need to use the drop down methods that is provided by Selenium. So what is the drop down method? Selenium has not provided any direct method for drop down. Rather than it has provided a class called as select class. So you need to use select class, which will help you to select a value from the drop down, right? Select the value from the drop down. In that case, what you need to do, you need to create an object of select class. This object will contain all the values, which is present in your drop down. Then you need to select one out of them. How you will select one out of them? For that, Selenium has given three methods: select by visible text, select by value, or select by index. So how this specifically looks? First, I have to create an object for select class, right? Let I have created an object select dropdown is equal to new select. But whenever you create an object of select class, you need to identify that particular drop down. That means I need to identify this one, I need to inspect this one, correct? So how I can identify it? Let me see. Grow path. Okay, select id is there. Okay, id is there, country is single, right? id is prominent, so that one you need to pass over here, guys. So what I need to pass over here? Driver dot find element by dot id. What is the id? id is the one that I have seen over here, right? Country is single. So now this particular drop down will have all the values. That means this drop down has India, United States of America, China and England. All four values it has. Now I want to select China, right? Then what I can do? Then I can use drop down dot, right? Select by any one I can use. Select by index, select by value, select by visible text. Best is select by visible text or select by value. Select by visible text means what is the visible text? Visible text is China, right? Then I can pass over here China. China. Does that mean that visible text and the values are same? Not at all. Okay guys, always those are, most of the time those are different. Both visible text and value are different. How you will come to know? Expand this one, guys, okay? And here the value is written. Can you see? So the value is small c, lowercase. And what is the visible text? Uppercase. So if you use like this, it will fail. So you need to make sure that if you are using value, you have expanded this and have seen that what is the real value of it. Don't blindly write it over there. That's why the most safe thing is to use visible text, right? Most safe thing is using visible text. Why? Because that is properly visible to you, so there will be no confusion on it. And index means at which location it is located. I guess it is in 2 means it is in third position, I guess. See, let us take us over there. If I will take you over here, see. This is specifically the index, means at which place your option is present. So for us it is present in the third position. Then you should pass 3 over here. But always remember, don't use index. Never use index. Why? Because if there is a new entry, for example, today India is there, United States of America is there, China is there, England is there. Tomorrow Canada they have added. Now Canada will come before China. What you will do? It will again start failing if you have written third position, right? That's why you should never use anything related to index. Not here, not anywhere else, right? So we should either go with visible text, first priority. Not working, value. Not working, try to find out some another way, or at last use index, right? But the priority should be first visible text, then value, then index. But anyone you use, it will help you to identify it. Similarly, if you want to deselect some values, you can also do that. Not much of use, but still, if you want to deselect something, you can simply use deselect by same 3 options: deselect by visible text, value and index, right? Now the second important method that we are going deep dive is getting to know your browser. What do you mean by that, getting to know your browser? For example, let me come over here. In our previous session we have seen, right, that there is a title over here. I told you, right, you will come to know about your title from a method given by Selenium. So now what we are going to do, we are going to see some of the direct methods which Selenium has given for specific elements. For example, how you will come to know about this URL, because your home URL will be like this, right? Or your home URL will be uipractice.com. you will hit this one, and this is your home URL. This is your main URL, right? When you click on this testing controls, it will be redirected to students index. This one got changed, right? So now how you will fetch this one? So to fetch those URLs or to fetch your title of your page, those, for those things Selenium has provided specific methods. Title means this one, title must be present somewhere over here. Your title supposed to be over here is the title. Can you see, guys? Testing controls, this is your title of your page. This is the title of your page. This is the URL of your page. So how we are going to get those values? To fetch those specific values, Selenium has provided couple of methods which works on top of your browser. Okay, so to fetch your current URL, you can directly use get current URL. How you can call it? It's very easy to call. Driver dot get current URL. It will directly give you the present URL you are currently in. For example, you want to fetch your title, right? Then you can use dot get title. Title means the one I have shown you, right? What is the title of my page right now? The title is testing controls, right? The title is testing control for me, correct? So it will fetch this value, and this value will be fetched if I use dot get current URL, right? One more is there called as page source. This one we will discuss little bit later. These two are very important, guys. Why? Because they will ask you in interview many times, okay, but in different ways. What happens, let you are testing this web page and they told you that you need to hit this one and you need to validate that what is the text you are getting over here. So what is the text I am getting over here? Create new, right? The text I am getting over here is create new, which is pretty much simple. So how I can fetch it? I can directly identify this object, and then I can use dot get text, right? I can identify this object, and then I can use dot get text. So driver dot, for example, this one dot get text. What it will do? It will return you the text value that has been mentioned. But sometime what happens, this text is not present properly. Okay, when you type your get text, it won't return you the value. In that case, what you need to do, because that value may be mentioned over there in some another property value. For example, your text is not present directly, but it is residing inside the name property, or maybe it is residing inside the text type property, or maybe it is residing inside the ID property. In that case, what you can do, you can simply use get attribute. So get attribute will help you to fetch any of the property associated with that particular object. So when you are trying get text and it is not working, what you should do, you should see that at which particular property the text is mentioned, and then you can use get attribute, and then inside the attribute you can pass. For example, it is mentioned inside the type, then it will return the value against the property type. So whenever, not only text, whenever you want to fetch any of the property value, then you should directly use get attribute. And if in case your get text is also not working, then also you can take help of get attribute. Why? Because sometimes the text is present not directly but inside some another property, for example name. Then you should use this name property, but there is nothing called as get name, right? That's why you need to use get attribute. Inside the attribute you need to pass the property name. So what is the property name? Property name, for example, is type. Then how you need to write? Driver dot find element dot get attribute and then the property name. So whenever they will ask you how to fetch text, give these two examples. Okay, don't say only get text, but tell them that get text, but if get text doesn't work, then I am going to use get attribute, right? Get attribute and the property name where the text is mentioned. Now there is one more thing. Let's go back over here and right click on it and click on this one, view page source. It will give you the entire DOM. If by any chance you want to get this entire DOM, what you can do, you can use get page source, used to retrieve the current page source of the web page. But it is not required, okay, we barely use it. But if any case you need it somewhere, then you can use dot get page source. It will help you to fetch the details from it, right? So it will be the best way whenever you want to fetch any details, or if they ask you that okay, I want to get the DOM structure programmatically, they may ask you in this way, okay, I want to get the DOM structure programmatically, then your answer should be again your page source. In page source mostly you will find all the details on your DOM, right? And whenever you want to get text, you need to answer both the ways, right? First is your, in your get text, first is your definitely the default method, that is get text, and the another one is your get attribute and the name of the property where the text has been mentioned, right? Now we will move to one more important section, that is switch to in Selenium. In Selenium, switch to is divided into three main parts, okay? What are the three main parts of switch to? One, switch to is on the pop-up, second switch to is on the frames, third switch to is on the window tabs, okay? So there are three ways switch to can be handled. So what do we mean by a pop-up? So let's see it over here. I guess yes. So can you see this one? If I will click on this, a pop-up has appeared, right? This is specifically called as pop-up. So there are many types of pop-up. One type is this, where you just have a OK button and you need to click on it. Another type is you will have two buttons, one is OK, one is cancel. You may need to click on OK, you may need to click on cancel. One more type where you need to enter some value on it, right? You need to enter some text on it and then you need to click on OK. One more type is like this, which is the another one was different. This is on top of your page, there is a cross button also to close it, right? But specifically in those kind of pop-up, they will ask you to validate this text, this entire text. So how you will validate this text, right? So all those four types, the basic authentication is pretty much similar, so we don't need that. This four type we need to see, we need to learn that how, if there is, all those are types of pop-up. But in all pop-up, what we have seen, we need specifically 4 to 5 methods, right? One method which will click on OK, one method which will click on cancel, one method which will input value on the input box of a pop-up, fourth, how to fetch the text from a pop-up, right? So all those methods can be implied only when you are on the pop-up. That means your driver is on the pop-up. How you can move to your pop-up? By using switch to method. That's why they have given driver.switch2.alert. This driver.switch2.alert will specifically take you to that pop-up that is currently present in your screen. Driver.switch2.alert, right? Driver.switch2.alert. So alert here means your pop-up, okay? Alert means your web-based alert pop-ups. So what I have done, driver.switch2.alert, right? So this alert is specifically means I am moving to that particular pop-up which is present on my screen. So now if I want to click on OK button, then I should use alert.accept. So accept is the method, right? Accept is the method which is going to help me to press on that OK button, right? To press on that OK button, I need to use the accept method. Driver.switch2.alert dot accept, okay? Driver.switch2.alert.accept. It will click on that OK button. That means which one? This one, this OK button, or this one, this OK button, any, no problem. Means is it in double button or single button, it doesn't matter. If the OK is present, if you use accept, it is going to click on it. But if I want to click on the cancel button, what I need to do? I need to simply use the another method, that is dismiss, to cancel the alert box, right? So to cancel an alert box, and always remember alert box whenever I am saying I am talking about the pop-ups. Dismiss. Now I want to, the third target, I want to enter some text on it. Then I can use send keys. Text on the pop-up. Right? Now I want to fetch text. Right? There is one pop-up where there are some text I want to validate. What I can do, dot get text. So those four methods will help you to handle different type of pop-ups that are present on your screen, and you will get any one of these, either this one or this one or this one or this one. Any one type you will get to see, right? So switch to, this is first type of switch to. Second type of switch to is iframe. Iframe is something which is present on your screen, but it is quite different. It's kind of a frame inside your web page. So whenever you see a frame inside your web page, again you need to, whenever you, if you want to perform any action on that, you need to use switch to get inside that frame. But there is a problem over here. We cannot say that how many frames are present. There may be 4 or 5 frames present on your web page, and if you use switch to dot frame, then it will be difficult to identify that which frame you need to go to. That's why to identify each of the frames, they have given some method which works on top of switch to dot iframe. So first you need to switch to the frame, driver dot switch to dot frame, but to which frame? For that they have given 3 methods to identify your frame: either your frame number, your frame name or ID, or the web element that has identified your frame. So any of the 3 methods you can use to switch to your frame. Then you can perform whatever action you want, and then whenever you want to come back to your main web page, you can use default content to move back, right? So we will see how we are going to do that. So driver dot switch to dot iframe. First let's identify that. Okay, let's identify that object, this iframe. Inspect, crow path. This is iframe, right? Iframe path is this one, right? Either we can use this x path, or if there is any one iframe, we can use this as an this is an index as one, but index we should not use, or else there is only one iframe, right? If you use one also, it is going to come over here. But what is the wise way? Wise way to create a web element, identify the iframe, and then pass it over there in the method. That means which one I am talking about? I am talking about this one. But we do have an option like this, int frame number. This is my first frame, so you can write 1, but that is not advisable and we should not use that. Second one is your string frame or ID. If the string frame name is present or ID is present, then so far so good, we can identify it using that. But if it is not present, most of the time those 2 of the things are not present. Okay, so we need to identify the frame using an web element and then pass it on over here. In that case, what you can do, web element frame is equal to driver dot find element by dot x path, right? I'm identifying that web element, and then this is given by this. We should not use this one also, but anyway, we are taking examples. So I have identified the web element, that frame specifically, by using x path. Now what I am going to do, I am going to use this frame object, switch to dot frame, right? Inside that I am going to pass this. Why? Because this frame will take 3 input, either your integer frame number, or your frame name or ID, which is a string, or your web element. So which is the preferred one? Always go with web element one. This is the most stable one, because you will identify separately your frame and then you are passing it over here. Once you switch to your frame, perform whatever action you want to perform on it, and then once your means actions are completed on that frame, switch back to your main screen by using default content, right? So what we should do, first we should identify that frame and which is advisable by using web element. Then we should perform action whatever we want to perform on that particular frame, and then we can come back by using default content. So this is the second variety of switch to. The third variety of switch to is window handles, or we called it as window tabs. So how those tabs looks like? For example, let me click on this link. So what it does, it opens a new tab, right? It opens a new tab for me, correct? It opens a new tab for me. So now let my objective is, I need to click on this link, and now I am not on my home page, I am on the new page. I need to perform some action on it, then I need to close it and come back to my main window page, or I need to open two, right? And then I go back to the last one, perform some action, then close both and come back to the home page. So in this case, in both the scenarios, I need to switch to multiple window tab, right? I need to switch to multiple windows tab. So how we are going to do that, and how we are going to identify that particular window tab? For that, Selenium has given some methods. There are two important methods. One is get window handle, to retrieve the handle of the current page. Means you can identify your current page by using get window handle. And if you want to know all the windows tabs that are opened on your page right now, that will be your get window handles. But one thing we should remember, what is the return type of get window handles? It is a hash set. Okay, the return type of window handles is hash set. So now hash set is part of collections, right? It is part of my collection class. So in collection class we have four things, correct? List, map, set, vector. So the third thing, that is set, is come over here, because our get window handles is going to return a set, right? So let's see how this get window handle is going to work. I guess I have written a script for it, which they ask in interview a lot. I'm not sure it is handy with me or not right now, but I'm going to show you that one. Frame, yep, this one they will ask you guys, okay, in interview, specifically this program. I will explain this one, wait. Okay, so let's think about that. What is my primary objective, correct? My primary objective is, I need to click on this one, right? I need to perform some action on that, correct? And then I need to close that one and come back over here. So in that case, there are a couple of actions I need to do, right? How I will identify that I am on my current page? To do that, first I have to save my current page. I need to save my current page. And how I am going to know that which is my current page? For that, Selenium has given us a method, that is get window handle. So first thing what I will do, I will identify my current page, driver.get window handle, to get parent window handle or current window handle, and save it inside a string, just for the reference. So whenever I will open a new window, at least I will come to know that my parent window will be saved over here in this sprint. So first I have saved my parent like this, driver.get window handle. Then what I did, I have clicked on open in new window. So I have clicked on this link, which will open a new window, right? So if I will click on this one, it will open a new window. Then what I will do, I am going to call get window handles now. What it will return? It will return two entries. One is this one, another is this one, because I have already opened a new window. So what I need to do, I need to create a set with string type. Why I need to create a set of string type? Because the return type of get window handles is set of string. So what is the return type of get window handles? They will ask you in interview, okay? So what is the return type of get window handles? It is a hash set of string. It is a set of string. Now what I am doing, I am creating a set of string and I am saving all the window handles that is present on my browser currently. Then what I will do, I will run a loop around that set. How I am going to run the loop around that set? This is the advanced for loop I am using. This is the variable name, and this is the one where I have saved all the set. And then what I am putting a condition that if, so what it will do, it will run around all the window handle that is present on my screen. If it is equal to my parent, that means if it is still on my parent window, then it is going to switch over to new window. So what do we mean by that? Let me explain. I am clicking on this. As of now, it is directly moving to the new screen, right? But sometime what happens when you click on this one, you are not navigating to the new screen, right? You are still on the old screen, correct? So now what we will do, we will first save this one as parent. Then once we open a new tab, we will use get window handles, and we will save all the window tab that are present with us. Then we will run the loop. If that window handle is same with parent, then we need to switch to the child. If that is not, if that is same, then definitely we are in parent. What we need to do, we need to switch. If it is not same, then we don't have to do anything, because we know that it has been automatically redirected like this. It has been automatically redirected. But in this case, the new one is opened, but we are still present in the parent window. We need to go to the child window. How you will know you are present in parent or child? That's why we are putting a condition that if my window handle is equal to parent, then I am going to switch to the child window and then close that child window. Then you are left with only parent window. After this one, when you move over here, you can perform some actions also. Perform actions on child window. This is the place where you will perform actions on your child windows. Okay, they will definitely ask you this interview question, guys. Okay, that how you are going to do the window handle. So specifically they want to see this code. They want to see how you are creating how you are saving get window handles inside a set, how you are running a loop around a set, how you are making use of switch to jump from one window tab to another window tab. So this is very important. Definitely they are going to ask. Now if you want to close a specific browser window or specific tab, then you can use this driver.close over here. Okay, driver.close also comes very handy. Okay, because this one is specifically help us to close something, because maybe there is a requirement like you need to open this one, move over here, perform some action, and then close it. So to close this specific one, you need to call that method driver.close, which I have called over here, line number 904. There I am also closing that one, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to provide you this one, guys. Okay.
Siddharth, can we run this code?
Yeah, we will run this code.
Yeah.
Not today, but we will run this code. This entire one we will run together, okay? Or else it will be much time consuming to run one after another. At last we will run this one, okay? That's why I'm using the correct XPath, so that at last when we will run it, it will work. Okay?
Yeah.
Cool. But guys, don't you take this as our final code, because in framework we should not write this way, correct? We will take an different approach to write a framework. This is just to aware about, means aware of the Selenium methods, correct? Once we are aware of the Selenium methods, we will start working on designing our framework and automating the page at real time, correct? Now there are some more wait is a different thing. Wait is, I want to teach you next time. Wait is an important one. Okay, but there is one more thing called as window management, which is not much important, so I am going to wrap it up today only. Window management. So what do you mean by this window management specifically? Whenever you open a browser, for example this one, right, those buttons are there, right, to maximize, to minimize, to all those actions you perform on the size and shape of your browser window, that comes inside this particular methods. window management methods. Okay, there are multiple methods over here. Okay, one is your position, one is your size. That means the size of your window, how you can set the size of your window, how you can fetch the size of your window, or how you can set the position of your window and how you can fetch the position of your window. So there are two classes comes into picture. One is your dimension class, one is your position class. All right, one is your point class and one is your dimension class. Dimension class is going to fetch your width and height. So whenever, very rarely we have this kind of requirement. Okay, very rarely. So if you want to, but if there is a requirement, then what you can do, you can simply use, you can create an object of your dimension class and then you can use driver.manage.window.getSize. Now this size has your height and this one. So driver.size.get height and get width. Very barely used, but yeah, we should aware of this one. So if you want to fetch your height and width of your browser, then what you can do, you can take help of dimension class, right? Similarly, you can set also. If you want to change the dimension, then also you can do it by like this, driver.manage.window.setSize. So you can fetch it or you can set it also. Set sometime we use, but again very rare, because those things are not wise to do. Changing your this one doesn't help much, so we try to avoid this. But yes, interview wise they may ask you, so better to aware of this. So this is for height and width. Similarly, if you want to know the coordinates, x and y coordinates, then what you can do, you can use point class. Point class has some methods which will help you to fetch get x coordinate, and you can also fetch the y coordinates, get y coordinates. Similarly, you can set the x and y coordinates also over here. But again, I suggest that don't use those methods. Just for your practice and knowledge perspective, we should know aware of it. And if worst case scenario sometime you need, then you may use it. But this one, how to maximize your window, this is 100% will be used in every framework whenever we want to, because we need to make sure that whenever we are opening a browser, that browser is supposed to be maximized in full screen, or else it will be very difficult for us to run it or identify it, or sometimes some of the elements get hidden, or sometimes half of the screen is visible. So definitely we should always use this in framework at core class level. I will show you how we will use it in base test. But whenever you want to maximize your window, you should use maximize. There is one more called as full screen. This is mostly in those YouTube videos and all, right? You have seen there is a full screen option square box. This one specifically points to that. But whenever you want to maximize your window, 100% go with this method. And this is the method which is being used at most of the places, guys. Okay, in many of the places you are going to see this. Okay, now there is one more, wait, we will cover in next session because this is an important one, so we will not pick it this time. There is one more called as element validation. Okay, this is kind of, we will learn while using it. Means when we try to validate something in our screen, I will tell you that how specifically this comes handy. Proxy, yes, proxy we need. Proxy specifically comes at your Chrome options and Firefox options label, because sometime what we need to do, we need to set this proxy, and to set the proxy you need to take help of Chrome options and Firefox options. But how you can create a proxy, or how you can basically, proxy means you need to pass your username and password, okay, most of the time. So how you can do that, I will show you one of the example. First we need to take help of a class called as proxy. We will create a Chrome. Okay, I am going to use for Chrome proxy is equal to new proxy, and then I am going to use this Chrome proxy to set up some proxy values. We dot set, not socks proxy, SSL proxy. Okay, this is also one which we use a lot, SSL proxy. Then one more, where is username and password, username, some username. Okay, they will ask you, okay, specifically that you need to set up proxy, then only come over here, or else no need to use this. Okay guys, so once you create or set a proxy for this one, sometime you need to fetch it also, but proxy we barely validate. If you want to validate also, there is methods called as dot get, means similarly how we are using dot set, the same way you can use dot get to specifically fetch some proxy, but we never use those things. Setting up proxy, yes, sometime we require. So in that case, what you need to do, first you need to create an object, set the proxy. Now you need to call your Chrome options. Okay, so we have created a Chrome options, right, over here. This one is going to help us now. Chrome options dot set proxy, and here you need to pass this one. Got it, right? How this proxy works. So proxy always come with your Chrome options. So whenever, now if you want to set it up for Firefox, simply use Firefox options dot set proxy, call this proxy, right? That's why this proxy is not specifically to Chrome. Let me name it a easy one, so that easy for us to understand. One time you can create it and you can use it at multiple this one multiple browsers. So whenever you want to set up your proxy, always remember there is a class we have called as proxy, which will help us to set it up for us, right? Now there is one more thing called as keyboard and mouse events. I guess this one we will cover next time. So we are left with keyboard and mouse events, and we are left with weight. So these two are pretty much big. So next time we will cover this one, and then we will learn how to create the folder structure for the UI, right? As of now, you don't have to practice anything, guys. Okay, those things you don't have to practice, because in interview they will sometime ask. So I will share you the docs with you guys, so you can revise before the interviews, but you don't have to practice anything at least today. Okay, no need to practice anything, because opening the browser and all those things will come up with the framework. That's why you don't have to practice anything today. But just for as a class note, I am going to, I guess I don't even have to provide this, because, but still let me try, or else you can just refer the videos. Okay, no need to means make a note of it, because everything is available. I will share the doc directly once we complete this one. Okay.
Yes, Siddharth, I have a one question.
Yeah,
Since a week, actually, my automation is giving me the error 403 when I run my automation show. Is it a proxy issue?
I cannot say like that, but forbidden means, I guess there is some access issue.
But when I manually do the testing, that time I didn't face any issue with my ID and password. Only when
Okay.
I start running with the
Hmm.
test runner throw the error of forbidden 403.
I cannot say this, because I need to see, or else send me the logs in WhatsApp. There must
Uh,
be some more information on this. Means
uh,
why it is 403. Maybe one problem, maybe your user doesn't have the access which you are trying to perform, or maybe some settings you are missing somewhere. It could be
but earlier it
proxy.
was not like that, Siddharth. Now I'm
uh,
not able to run in the headless mode even, and not through the test runner.
we need to check that mostly, but I need the logs. Send me the logs, I will definitely
Hmm.
figure out from the logs that what is happening. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
I will send you on the WhatsApp. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.